Hi everyone, Amy here, and I have a marvelous mask stenciled card to share with you today, so let's jump right in. I'm going to be using the Life of the Party from the Party collection of mini ink pads from Catherine Pooler. I have my blending brushes here, and I'm going to be working directly on the card base. This is A2 size, 110-pound cardstock, and here's the star of the show. This is the Marvelous Masks cat head stencil from A Colorful Life Designs. Now this is one of many Marvelous Mask sets that are available in the shop, and they are so fun. As you can see, there's 4 stencils that come in the set, all different sizes, and you get the outer and the inner portion. And you'll see as I go along why that's important and why that adds to the versatility of this type of stencil. So if you're interested in those, I will link those below in the video description box below, as well as some videos to other cards that I've made with these stencils. Now here's the card that I'm going to make for you today. As you can see, it's all faux dimension. It's faux layering in the sense that it's all basically single layer except for that simple strip that I have on the card. So I'm going to start with the smallest cat head in the lower right corner, and I'm just going to ink blend. Now as you can see, this color is not quite flirty fuchsia. I must have had quite a bit of residual purple ink on that blending brush, but it worked for my design, so I just went with it. And now that I've blended the smallest cat, you can see I'm going to take the inner portion of the masking stencil and cover up what I've already ink blended. Now here I'm just being lazy and wasting time and trying to determine if I can get away with doing this process without pulling out my pixie spray. But save yourself the time, do yourself a favor, and just go ahead and spray the back of the smaller inner portions. That's ultimately what I ended up doing. I decided it was going to be too much of a hassle trying to hold it in place. So I did spray a light layer of the pixie spray on the back of all the inner portions, and then it really just helps me kind of move along with this technique and just cover up the portions that I've already ink blended. So the cool thing about this is you don't have to worry about color theory or mixing colors together and making mud, because you're essentially masking off whatever color you've already just ink blended. So you can see here I'm able to put the yellow right next to the purple without any issue because it's already covered up. So now I'm going to remove the outer portion and lay down the next size up, essentially covering everything that I've ink blended, and really push that down onto the cardstock. And I'm just going to work my way through the different sizes of this stencil just to kind of create this fun kind of rainbow look as if it's coming off the head of the cat. So I'm coming in with this teal color and kind of blending that down, and it really does give the illusion of different layers of cardstock, but you're really just working right on that card base. So it's going to be nice and flat and easy to ship, which is something that I like to do whenever I can, cut down on the bulk. So I'm just removing the magnets here, and then I'm going to put the next size cat down just to cover up everything I've blended, and then come in with this really bright hot pink color. Now it looks a little bit red on the camera for some reason, but it's actually, as you saw, a very bright hot pink. So I'm just going to kind of clean up my workstation as I go, because I am working right on the card base. I'm not working on a panel that I can attach. So I want to try and keep my work surface clean just so I don't get any smudges directly on that card base. So I'm just really pushing that down and lining up this final of the largest stencils and coming in with that pink. And this just creates such a fun look. I have a blast playing with these marvelous masks. So be sure to check out the other videos for other ways that I've come up with to use these unique stencils, but there's just so many different fun ways you can play with them. So just kind of ink blending here, and then I will come in with that biggest cat in a moment here, and you'll see what I'm going to do with it next. So when I'm able to cover up all of the cat, here we go for the big reveal. Isn't it so fun? So I'm going to cover up the full cat head, and then I'm going to bring in yet another stencil to kind of create a background for this design, which is yet another fun way to really take advantage of the outer and inner portions of these stencils. So I'm just going to push this down and then get, it's another older stencil from the lineup. It's a 6x9, being a little fussy here, but I really want to make sure it's lined up correctly here, get all the edges covered. But this is a really cool checkerboard. You can see it kind of has an illusion where it's smaller and then looks like it's kind of spreading out off into the distance. So I'm figuring out how I want to lay it out, and I decide that I want the lower right again to be the emphasis of the design. So I'm going to come in with the heaviest hand and the darkest ink in that lower right corner, and I have this black soot distress ink, and I'm just really coming in with the heaviest hand in the lower right, so the deepest saturation, and then getting a little bit more light-handed as I blend up towards the top left. So it will kind of blend in from the black into more of a gray and then into the white. So you can certainly cover the entire card front or panel front if you want, but I just like the illusion of it being really concentrated in the one corner and then just kind of gradually fading off. But again, you do you. It's it's up to you and your preference. But I just thought this really added to the cool, I don't know, trippy look of the design, and this would be a fun, I don't know, teenager card, or I don't know. I thought it was really fun, and I did not have this planned out as I was going in typical fashion. I'm just kind of playing and winging it as I go. So now I'm just going to remove this 6x9 stencil and then ultimately the masking portion, and then here you go. Isn't this so fun? All these different colors and all these layers, but it's really just a nice flat card base. So here I have the Snarky stamp set. This is Tailored Expressions. They make the stamps, the coordinating dies, and also the storage boxes. Everybody always asks about them, but it's really cool. There's a tray, and you have them all on display so you can see what they say, and you don't have to spend the time, you know, flipping through them, trying to figure out what one you want to use. And I'm kind of debating between a couple different ones, but ultimately I landed on You're My Favorite Dork. Just makes me laugh. And then these are little low profile thin foam strips. I get them from Amazon. I'll also link those below with all the other products that I used. So snip that off, and then this ends up being the only dimension on the whole card. And I do end up leaving the inside blank just because I'm not sure what type of card this will be. This will probably just be a, you know, hello sort of card, or a note card that I send to a friend maybe out of town. So I wanted to leave lots of room to write my recipient. But ultimately that finishes the card. If you're interested in any of the products that I use, I will link them below the video. Just expand and scroll down. And I'll also link the other videos where I use other Marvelous Masks stencil sets if you want to check those out. And don't forget my coupon if you shop and save 10% on your complete order. So I hope you enjoyed this card. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I'll check you next time. Bye.